am here with my sister Emily. We both have ADHD. She will talk to us about it. I will ask questions to her. 1. What's ADHD?
So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So there's 3 categories. There's the attention deficit, which is having a hard time concentrating. There's the impulsive decisions, so making quick decisions without necessarily thinking about it. And then there's the hyperactive part, which can be being over energetic.
Like I decided just like that you'll learn Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good example. That's what's interesting, maybe in 2 weeks, you're not going to want to learn Portuguese anymore. You'll move on to something else, and that's completely fine. Or not, yeah. It might be an interest now that you'll keep learning and be able to speak Portuguese very well.
Can you have ADHD and not be hyperactive?
Yes. So that is ADD, attention deficit disorder, without being hyperactive, which now is the same thing. Like if you're not hyperactive, you can still get a diagnosis for ADHD. Not sure why they're doing it that way. I don't consider myself being hyperactive. Yeah, maybe you are. I mean, when I was a child, it was different. As you get older, sometimes you have less energy. There are people with ADHD that will talk a lot nonstop. And that's another thing with ADHD is that there's ups and downs. So yeah, if I'm very passionate about what I'm talking about, yes, I will talk, loud and fast about it. But I'm passionate about that. I feel like there's a lot of people that, will talk fast and loud when they're passionate about a certain subject, without necessarily having a diagnosis, having ADHD.
I type lots, text lots. It can overwhelm people. I don't know when to stop.
Yes. But with texting too, I mean, people can answer you when they answer you. So, as long as, you're not expecting an answer right away, that can be okay. And it depends on the people too that you're texting. If you know that they're actually getting overwhelmed or if that's just how you feel. But yeah, you're always in need to say something to a lot of people, so that does come into ADHD.
Facebook is good for that.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of people with ADHD doing YouTube videos too, and they get to talk to the whole world about it, which is great. If I'm talking with somebody, I might end up talking a lot, but I'm not somebody that, taxes a lot. I think I used to more than I do now. Now I'm more in my own little bubble.
You are very quiet too.
Yes, I can be very quiet. I feel like my brain is more hyperactive than my body is. So, yeah. So my brain is always thinking, and I'll be quiet a lot of times, and I'm thinking about different things. Or sometimes I'm just completely shut down and I'm not thinking at all. But I tend to be very quiet and either process information that other people are seeing, or just being in my own little world.
My body needs to be active for my brain to work.
Yes, and that is something that a lot of people with ADHD have. They need to move. I do talk with my hands, which is also kind of a French thing. But, if we think about like fidget spinners or anything that you can, move with your hands, a lot of children can actually pay more attention when they're doing that. The problem is it's not always allowed in the classroom because it's a sign of disrespect, and that's a big issue. It should not be. If doodling helps you concentrate more, you should be able to do that. Kind of like chewing gum, which is weird because you're not allowed to chew gum in class. It's a sign of disrespect. However, for provincial tests that we did in elementary school, we were allowed to chew gum for that test specifically because it was proven to help you concentrate. But that's the only time you could do it, because other than that, it's disrespectful. So there's a lot of things that don't really fit into place.
I have them at church.
Exactly, and it's not because you don't want to listen. It actually helps you listen more. Yes, yeah.
I get overly agitated when excited or stressed, and I need to jump, run, time a lot.
Yes. To jump, run, and stem a lot. Yeah, so yeah, fidgeting is a big part of it, but it shouldn't be a problem. It should be something that you can do and concentrate without it being a problem. It is seen as a problem when it shouldn't be.
Can my ADHD fidgeting come out as autistic times?
It can. Yeah, so there's stimming with autism. And there's stimming with ADHD.
can you have ADHD and be able to focus?
Yeah, so there are ways to help you focus. So, that's either the individual that's going to find out what works for them, either by themselves or with help from professionals. So, again, you might not be able to focus without certain things, like, maybe you need some fidget things, maybe you need to move your hands, maybe you need to do certain things to help you focus. So for focusing, for me, what works is basically time management. So, if I'm cleaning my place, I might be all over the place. So, I'm doing the dishes, but then I see a spot on the wall, and then I gotta go there. Oh, this part of the house needs to be swiped, and I go there. And, the job's is not getting done as well as it should be. So I'm gonna set timing for specific place. So, I'm half an hour in the kitchen, half an hour in the living room, half an hour in the bedroom, things like that. But my mind could run off in thinking about, what I gotta do the next day. When I was in school, what helped me to study would be to set different time zones for different homeworks. If I would concentrate on a homework for 1 hour, then I would move on to the other homework for an hour. I would go back to the other one for an hour and then go back to the other one for an hour, instead of just, finishing one task and then finishing the other tasks. Some people, it might be easier to just finish one thing and then move on to the other. For me, it was easier to just break it down, change subjects. To really focus. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But depending on the situation, like at school, I was able to write for hours nonstop because I was really focused on the subject, but I was into it. So it was easier to focus.
I was often bored.
Yes. And that's another problem, is that in school, public and Catholic system, you often need to sit down at a desk and do paperwork, which can be an issue because not everybody can focus that way. So, people with ADHD, or just children in general, can actually learn better when they're doing things.
4. What's the difference between ADHD and autism?
So ADHD, it's the focus, it's the impulsive decision. What's the other one? Who's the third one? Hyperactive. So with autism, you can be hyperactive, you can have a hard time concentrating, but again, for autism, you need the social development, and then repetitive behavior, and the other one. See, I haven't been very, very focused on this subject.
Communication.
Yeah, communication, and that's another tough one.
5. How does ADHD affect you?
So, I don't really see ADHD as being problematic for me. In conversation, sometimes it can be difficult if, I'm zoning out, but, I can professionally say if, it's at work, I apologize, I misunderstood what you were saying. Would you be able to repeat that? If I'm with my friends, I'll just say, sorry, I wasn't listening. Start over. So I guess, yeah, that can be a bit difficult when, my focus just goes away. But it's literally just a few seconds and I'll realize it afterwards. I am definitely not offended if, somebody tells me, like, snap out of it, listen to me. Yeah, I do know that I do sometimes my brain just like stops paying attention for a few seconds and then I get back into it. Another way when people talk to me, I like if they're saying a sentence, my brain will like finish the sentence before they do. And for that reason, I often seem to interrupt people. And either they'll tell me, oh yeah, that's what I was saying, or they're like, oh no, so why did you interrupt me? Like, listen, that's not what I was saying. And then that's fine too, either way. But I do tend to interrupt people when they're talking because in my mind they have already finished what they were saying, but in reality they haven't. So I think that my brain kind of goes, faster than what the norm, I guess. See, I'm not seeing diagnosis as a problem. As long as, like, if you can function, there's ways of functioning. So, I mean, if you can live alone, if you can have a job, then those things aren't necessarily affecting you.
But I need support.
Yes, exactly. You are one of the people that, does need support, that does need help. You do need help. A lot of people do need help. Their disability is affecting them to, be able to be on their own.
Does ADHD have positive impacts on your life?
Yes. So, like, again, I've changed my mind over career choices all the time, which at the same time, it's gaining me a lot of experience. But it kind of all fits in each other too. So, and I wouldn't, there's a lot of people who don't have ADHD and will still have different careers throughout their life. Back in the day, it used to be you kind of pick a career and then you stick to it and then you have benefits and, you're there until you retire. It's not necessarily like that today. So, like, it might be an ADHD thing or it might just be I like to get different knowledge on things. I like to, try different jobs, and that's why I've kind of been doing freelancing too, because I can, get knowledge on different things, I guess. So yeah, yeah, I guess that would be a positive impact.
For me, positive is the need to constantly do something.
Yes. And again, you're gaining a lot of knowledge by trying different things, and, so did I.
Portuguese, organ, painting.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played the violin, guitar, even though I don't know how to play the guitar very well, I can do, like, the notes very well, and, like, not the strumming part, but, like, I don't know how it's called. And then harmonica, I bought an ocarina because I felt like it.
I get kind of depressed when I get a lack of stimulation.
Yeah.
Did ADHD affect you differently when you were little?
Yeah, so I was more hyperactive. I always needed to move. having an environment where, you can move a lot does help. Unfortunately, school was not that kind of place, even though I would have, learned better if I was outside, counting leaves instead of, counting blocks at a table.
Some shows have exercise balls to sit instead chairs.
Yeah, and that's great. That should be allowed. There's colleges too that have those in the study rooms. Another way, I guess, it affected me, if I think back to high school, I used to get bullied because I would stare at people. I was called a witch because people thought I was staring at them and putting a curse on them. But I was literally just zoned out. And that often happens. I'll be staring at somebody. I have no idea I'm looking at them. I'm just in my own thoughts. And that's the way I'm looking.
You got judged.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, everybody gets judged, no matter who you are, you're going to get judged once in your life. So it's definitely not something that, it did affect me when I was in high school, because, I was a teenager. But it's not something that's affecting me long term. As you grow older, you realize that, people's judgment really have no importance on, the person you are, and you move on from that.
Jesus got judged.
Yeah, just like everyone. It's pretty normal. A lot of people don't necessarily understand differences, but we're all different, so.
For me, I think my ADHD was maybe hiding or not seen because autism was so seen.
Yeah. You might have more tendencies of autism than ADHD. So, but there are symptoms that fits into both categories.
Definitely. Well, thanks.
You're welcome.